Alright, my GCSE Chemistry crew, quick reality check. The stuff you avoid revising is usually the stuff that's going to show up and you're going to be least emotionally prepared for it. So this video is about rarely tested topics, the ones that don't appear often, but when they do, they can be big marks. So we're not going to ignore them. But this isn't me saying ignore the main topics. This is me saying let's stop you getting jumped by a random 6 marker. So you still do your revision, full curriculum, full syllabus, but these are the few things that I've found that are least tested, so they can come up as a higher marker this time. I hope this makes sense. I am Talk GCSE. If this helps, subscribe because you're trying to make your revision efficient, not painful, guys. Okay? Now, let's have a look at this. So here's the pattern. Now, between 2021 and 2024, some areas show up 0 to 1 times in paper 1 higher. This means they are very strategic revision opportunities because I've done that homework and you guys haven't. So you need to listen to me, technically. Just joking. Okay. Because loads of people skip them. Now, the 3 big groups I want to talk about is particles and structure, named structures, and quantitative methods. So particles and structures, they are like particle sized and properties, the uses of nanoparticles, which is very good. It's a good one. It behaves differently. You grab marks fast, basically. Name structures. What I'm talking about here is learn about diamond, polymer, ionic compounds, their properties, their structure. What examiners love is saying that it has strong covalent bonds, or because it has delocalized electrons, that kind of linking phrases. Okay. In terms of quantitative maths, this is a spicy one, like mole balancing, limiting reactants, percentage yield. People fear calculations, but honestly, it's predictable and you just need a solid method. Okay. So the theme here is that rare doesn't mean irrelevant. Rare just means everyone else is unprepared. So this slide is basically a warning label. Reactivity and acid basics. Things like metal oxides and acids reacting with metals, they can appear weirdly rarely because people assume I learnt that ages ago, but for AQA sometimes they throw in because they're fundamentals. So remember, acid plus metal is salt and hydrogen, metal oxide plus acid is salt and water, naturalization vibes, etc. Another thing that I see very less of are fuel cells. They're not always common, but definitely spec content, so make sure to go through that. These can be a quick 1-2 marker or can be a 5-6 marker. So what I'm trying to say is don't skip any of your topics, but these are the ones that you need to focus on. And now we go on to a slide that tells you the strategy. This is a bit that actually saves you time. What I'm trying to say is master one solid calculation set. Now, one method that you trust for balancing equation using moles, limiting reactants, percentage yield. Now, my advice is do 3 full set of questions each. Start slow and speed up because once it clicks, it's basically the same step every single time. Knowing the structure and properly linking, so think about diamond versus ionic compounds versus nanoparticles, structure, properties, use. That phrase because is where the marks live. And then nail your fuel cells basic, guys. You know what goes in, what comes out, and why is it considered greener. Practice things like electrode reactions in words because AQA loves explain questions where they have to or you have to narrate it. So this is like a high return revision, small time investment, but could be big mark protection, guys. Now going on to paper 2. So it's the same idea. Some topics appear inconsistently, so they can still be big. Things like, in terms of rates and equilibrium, the effect on concentration on equilibrium. It's higher tier, even if it shows up rarely. If it does, it's usually a proper big question. So make sure to go through that. in organic chemistry, talking about alkanes, alkenes, amino acids sometimes feel patchy on papers. So make sure you name, draw, explain the situation. It's a multi-step thing. In terms of chemical analysis, always remember your gas tests, carbonate tests, chromatography tests, everything. So paper 2 is basically AQA saying remember everything you ignored. Surprise! Another thing that I have noticed that in the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years, there are very less talk about ocean dissolving CO2, carbonates forming, photosynthesis, fossil fuels. So I think that can be extended response material. And then using resource, which is topic 10, corrosion and prevention methods, and they love the difference between them, like barrier protection, sacrificial protection. Rare topics often have a 6-mark potential because they suit explanation. Okay, so just make sure to go through that. Another thing is your actual revision. Now, this is the key that I want to go through. Your revision plan should be in 3 stages, but you want to keep it simple. Core fundamentals, so base, bonding basics, moles basics. This is your foundation, all the topics. Target the rare list, the things that I've told you about in the previous slides. Just make sure to pause the video, write down the topics, etc. Because they can be the easiest competitive advantage marks. Everyone else neglects them, you don't. Then paper pass, paper mastery. Now you use real AQA papers to learn their wordings, their patterns, their mark scheme habits. Look for command words, describe, explain, calculate. They all mean different things. If you want me to turn this into a checklist, you can screenshot it, or you want a part 2 where I show you the exam style questions with these rare topics. Hit subscribe. I am Talk GCSE, and I'll see you in the next one.